What is good? Osiris here, stuck in the middle. Thank you for joining. I'm going to reply to the clip you might have seen from this UFC fighter, Bryce Mitchell. And we're seeing some good things out of the UFC. And he mentioned he actually did an interview with Tucker and he said, well, I don't fear my job. Tucker asked him, well, why are you speaking out? Why do you feel like you're able to speak out and more people don't speak out? And we all know the elephant in the room is we don't have a social credit score yet, but we do have a social credit consequence. How many people feel comfortable going on YouTube or anywhere else and respectfully, not even talking about anything disrespectfully to anybody, and saying, I don't like this? How many people would feel comfortable with that? Most people would like to play it safe, and I understand. So a lot of good things coming out of the UFC because they're able to speak freely and not fear for losing their job. That's the power of free speech. Now, you don't have free speech while working for the UFC, but the UFC allowing that free speech means something. So let me play a clip here. I'm going to talk about where Bryce Mitchell was based and then where I would need clarification. I need a little bit more nuance. Really, the part of the clip that blew up is the part that I need more nuance on. So let's start with the part where I just think he was based.
Biden and his son making a shit ton of money off of and using our tax dollars to bribe their people. That's treasonous, in my opinion. So you got Biden and his son using our tax dollars. Hey, if Ukrainian government, if you don't do this, we're taking your tax dollars. He shouldn't be giving our tax dollars to that country anyway. We got veterans out here sleeping on the street, and you're going to give our freaking tax dollars to these Ukrainians and all that. Brother, I don't know what's going on over there, but I'm not going over there and fighting, and God bless anybody that's over there that's fighting, and I hope that the shit just gets solved. And, man, I don't like war. You know what I mean? I don't want people dying and all that stuff. I don't want to be, but I don't know what's going on. There's so much stuff that I think that's corrupted that we just don't know what's truly going on over there. And
Appreciate those comments there from him. On Tucker, he went on to say, he talked about the Federal Reserve. He said, it's neither federal nor a reserve. And I love that line. This is why you don't need to be an expert to know enough to have general, big picture, heartfelt positions that make sense. So I appreciate him speaking out here. Here's where I've got to get clarity, or we need to get a little bit nuanced, or I have a different perspective, is the part of the clip that went viral.
Back over here, bro.
what's up, brother?
What's up, man? A lot of people think politics should stay out of sport, but considering you're not one of those people, I just wanted to get your thoughts on the whole Russia and Ukraine situation.
You know, here's my first thought is I'm not going nowhere to fight none of these wars for these politicians. I'm staying at home, and when the war comes to Arkansas, I will dig my boots in the ground, and I will die for everything I love, and I will not retreat. If this country's invaded and everybody's saying, well, we gotta evacuate, we gotta leave, I will not. I will dig my boots in the Arkansas soil, and I will fight for the people that I love, for the land that I love, and the way of life that I love. But I'm not going overseas to fight. I don't know what's going on, to be honest, brother. I really don't. There's so much.
Okay, so I'm going to get to the part here. I agree completely that if push comes to shove, you've got to fight for your family. The part about the country, let me get to that in a second. Let me go back to Ukraine and then talk about it. I'm going to tie it back in. I don't know why this isn't being talked about openly, but Ukraine has an option right now, and they have an option to surrender. I want innocent citizens to be safe, to live. That's the number one priority. And nuclear, avoiding war with Russia. But let's just talk about from the Ukrainian standpoint. Do not put the loss of citizens in Ukraine, do not put their loss of their lives on me as an American citizen. Do not do that. That doesn't make sense. It's not accurate. The Ukrainian government has an option to say, we are losing too many lives. I don't even know what the totals are. I'm just talking hypothetically here because we're seeing all these scary pictures and people having to evacuate. They are making calculated decisions. They can surrender and say, hey, this isn't a battle worth losing innocent citizens' lives for. Stand down. I think that's where the negotiations, you're trying to negotiate so you don't have to surrender and just give up everything. But that is on the Ukrainian government. That's not on the U.S. government. That's not on U.S. citizens. It sounds romantic to say, and Bryce Mitchell said, I'm going to, if invasion came on our soil, I'm going to fight to the death. And in general, I can understand and agree with that. Where are you going to run to? But here's where I will tie it into Ukraine. When the invasion comes, there's always signs before it. There is no invasion that's coming to American soil. There was no invasion that came to Ukraine that didn't have signs of distress. And I'm talking going back decades. Let's just go back the last 10 years. The Ukrainian government made a calculated risk or decision. You can argue the Ukrainian government is a puppet for the U.S. That's fine, but that's still the Ukrainian government. You could argue our government is becoming a puppet for China. That's still the U.S. government. So the Ukrainian government made decisions. They put all their chips into, we're going to join NATO, or we're going to try and join NATO. They even asked for nukes. We want nukes. And that didn't work. And now Russia came in. This isn't about right or wrong. I put this on Twitter. Somebody said, well, Putin is right, Putin is wrong. The only right or wrong I care about is what reaction the United States has at this point. Is our reaction to this right or wrong? I don't care about who's right or wrong in Putin or Ukraine, because I don't care about either one of them. Whether Putin's right or wrong is irrelevant. What can we do in reaction to what he's done? And the Ukrainian government had decades to figure something out with Russia, to figure out something with NATO. They're in the middle. They're in a tough position. They put all their chips into NATO, and now it's not working out. It's a real-life chess game with real-life consequences. And right now, you have the opportunity to lay down your king. That is an option. So don't put that on me. Don't put that on America. And when we come back to America, let's tie it to Bryce Mitchell again. It sounds romantic. If foreign invaders came on our soil, I would fight to the death. It's a UFC type answer. It's like, I'll fight to the death. Yeah, you sound real, proud and yeah. The time to avoid having to go to violence and guns and defending the country, the time is now. Now, I don't want to hear about that then. I don't want to hear about it then. Let's talk about it from the context of China to explain what I mean here. They took down a statue of Thomas Jefferson in the largest city of our country. New York is basically the capital of the real capital of the United States. Washington, D.C. is capital in name only. The real capital of the United States, that's why it was hit in 9/11, the real capital of the United States of capitalism is New York. They took out a statue of Thomas Jefferson, one of the founding fathers, out of New York City Hall after 187 years. And nobody cared. And you want to talk about, I'm gonna fight for Arkansas. Bruh, Russia coming across to Ukraine, that doesn't happen like this. It happens gradually. China coming on soil to the United States, it doesn't happen. They're planting the seeds right now, in my opinion, to make that happen easily. So my point is, if it gets to the point where China, for example, comes on to the soil, and half these people allowed it, half the people in America probably would fight on the side of China. I'm not dying for that. The time is now to talk about it. The time to fight for the Constitution is now. If you don't have a tactical advantage when the guns come out, I'm not fighting to the death for what? I'll learn Mandarin and I'll learn how to succeed under Eastern philosophy. That's what's happening now anyway. So to me, if I'm in Ukraine, I don't care about Zelensky or Putin. I'm not dying for either one of these fools. I don't want to, maybe you don't want to be under the rule of Putin. Okay, I don't want to be under the presidency of Biden. I'm not dying for that. If you have nowhere to go and the ultimate surrender is, elimination, kind of like the man with the funny mustache, then there's no choice. But if it's just a takeover of philosophy and like we run things now, China's buying up all the land, Bill Gates buying up all the land, we're already in the middle of the transformation. I'm not dying when the guns start coming out. Are you serious? That's where I would challenge, bro. It's too late at that point. We've been seeing this happen over years and years and years. Infiltrating Hollywood, infiltrating education, critical theory. This is Maoism. Xi Jinping grew up under Mao, and we are being corrupted by this neo-Maoism. That's not a coincidence. So let me know what you think. I think that the time to avoid that situation was in the past. And when that comes out, when you come to that scenario now, then it's too late. So you talk about Russia versus Ukraine, the same things happen. China, in my opinion, China influencing the United States. And the fate of Ukraine is the fate of the United States in the future. Let me know what you think. Take care.